Freedom, freedom, freedom. I do what you say. Freedom, yeah. Why am I playing that song? Because this book right here, you would have thought that my sister wrote it the way I promote it, because it is the best parenting book I have ever read, and it has given me so much freedom I can't even describe. Because here's the thing, it teaches you so much. And if you don't have time to read a book, which I do not, there's an audio of it, and it's only an hour, and I've listened to it 5 or 6 times, and every time I listen to it, I hear something else. I'm like, boom, 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 because we're always so worried about what our kids are doing. We need to focus on what we're doing to contribute to the problem, because the kids are going to do what they're going to do. But guess what? They were created by God to be put into your life for a specific reason, to teach you about your undeveloped self. Let's just let that sink in for a minute, okay? When I read that, I was like, whoa, I feel very undeveloped. Because here's the thing, when I was a teacher, I could be like very cool, calm, and collected. When it's my own kids, not so much. And I'm like, what is that all about? And here's the deal. When you have your kids, before they come, there's so much anticipation and excitement, and you have all these expectations, and it's going to go like this, and it's going to go like that. And then it doesn't always go like that. So guess what? You're triggered. You might have expectations about their behavior, about their grades, about their manners, about how they're going to respect you, respect other people. If they're going to be tidy kids, you might think about all those different things you put onto that child before they're even born. So they come to this world with this huge price tag that you have put on them. And then guess what? They're not going to fulfill all that because there's this little itty bitty baby. They don't know what the heck they're doing. You have to teach that to them. But you expect them, and I expect them, to know how to share, to know how to be respectful, to know how to be kind to other people. And all those things we have to teach them, but we expect them. And when it doesn't happen, we are triggered, and it makes us feel less than. They have a tantrum, we are a failure, so I'm going to yell more. They're not listening, I'm not doing my job, I'm a failure. And then you just have so much shame, and you think everybody else, you see the Christmas cards, and you see all these other families are like, oh, they have got it all together. And then you feel shameful, and you don't want to talk to anybody about it. And then you sip the shame every night. You cry yourself to sleep thinking, I'm a failure, I'm not doing a good enough job. But here's the deal. All these things that happen have nothing to do with you. And that is what this book has taught me. It is unbelievable how much ego was involved with me raising my kids. How much, the teacher in me was like, I have to have well-behaved kids because I'm a teacher, and I want other people to think that I'm a good mom because I'm a teacher, and I'm a counselor, and I want my child to be, emotionally healthy because I'm a counselor. And no, that is not their job to fulfill my ego, to stroke my ego, to make me feel like I'm a good mom. Because here's the thing, they are on their own path, and I am trying to shove them into a vortex. And the more I shove them into the vortex, the more I'm stepping on their toes while we're dancing, and then the dance isn't going. The more I pull back and let them kind of show who they're going to be, and let them both show who they're going to be, who God intended them to be instead of who I think they're going to be, the more they flourish. And then I can get them through those storms. Like, let's pretend we're on a play date together, or we're at a birthday party, and you see my kids melting down about it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if they're 4 or 14, you see them melting down. What do you think about those kids? Do you think they're bad kids, naughty kids, awful kids? No. Do you think I'm a bad parent? Hopefully not. And if you do, probably don't want to be hanging out with me. But here's the thing, that's the same thing that you have to think of when your kids are having their storms or their disrespect or whatever the issue is. You have to be like a helicopter above them and see their behavior for what it is, but don't take it personally. And that is why I played the song Freedom, because this book has given me freedom, that these storms and tantrums have nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my ego, nothing to do with me as a parent, nothing to do with them as a child. It doesn't mean if they have a bad moment or a bad day, it doesn't mean they're a bad kid and they're going to grow up, and we parent in so much fear that this one little thing is going to lead to so much other things later on, instead of just thinking this is just something that's happening in isolation. So with this book, which I cannot believe. That is pretty much the reason why I did the parenting boot camp, because since this has happened, I have felt the tension in our house lower so much more, because the battle is going away. The issues still happen. That's the thing. It doesn't make these issues go away. But when they happen, I am not going to add fuel to the fire, which is what I was doing before. I was exacerbating the situations. So when storms or things happen, or disrespect, or door slamming, or whatever it is, raspberries have been blown in my face, I detach myself emotionally, that it has nothing to do with me and has everything to do with the behavior at the moment, and we will get through it and then talk about it. I'm not a permissive parent, and I'm not overly strict. I try to be right in the middle. But before, I was overly strict, and I'm like, no, you're gonna cry, stop crying. But guess what? That's gonna make it worse. Grady, you're too wild. Well, guess what? That's the way he was made. Lily cries a lot. Grady's too wild. That's what God intended them to be, and what could that teach me about me? So look at your kids for their gifts and their beauties of what they are, and let them develop into who they need to be. They were placed into this world as a gift from God, and it is our job to nourish them and let them grow, but get out of their way and stop putting our expectations on them, and when they don't meet that, to be triggered and exacerbate the situation and make things worse, because then they're trying to fit into our mold, because they love us so much and they want that appreciation and they want that validation and they want to know they're accepted by their parents. But when they can't get it, that's when you guys are stepping on each other's toes. And I'm telling you, your world will change when you have that mind shift of it has nothing to do with you. And I just want to thank you all for trusting me. I hope this helps. I'm going to give you small little breadcrumbs every single day. Some days will be light and easy. Some days will be heavier going into our childhoods, but we'll do it together. And just so you know, I am talking to myself every single day. I am not a lecturer. I'm not better than you. I'm not saying this is the way to do it. I'm just sharing what works, and this is helping me stay accountable to how I'm handling all these. You're going to be tested a zillion times, and the less you are triggered, the less often these storms will happen. So take that to heart. If you don't have time to read the book, get the audio. It's just as good. I cannot believe how amazing this book is, and I couldn't even possibly summarize it in 7 minutes, and I just tried. So hopefully you're still listening, and I love you guys, and I will see you mañana.